Hello, people. Welcome to my channel. I go by the name of Sugar. Uh, ever wonder why your style of training or type of training you do might determine whether or not you will gain or you stick to even the training or you would stop over after all? This is what I'm going to talk about today. Quick story before I start. I was at the gym 2 weeks ago, and at my gym, there is this lady. She's a trainer there. She tend to train the demographic. Her clientele demographic is a bit on the older side, so she's generally training older individual, people in their mid 50s and up. So I saw her. She was training these two ladies, and I looked at her. Okay, cool. But at some point, as I'm training, sometime I was trying, how we look around. By the way, looking around the gym is not creepy. It's just you being human. Like when you're around people, most of us tend to look around. Don't feel weird if you're looking around and people are looking too. That's all of us do that. But anyway, so I was looking around and I saw what she was making these ladies do. It was kind of strange to me at first. I was like, okay, maybe they're experienced. They were doing burpees, and as I watched closer, she was literally making them do burpees, and I was like, I don't think this is appropriate for people that look so novice in this subject. Like they look like they're brand new there. They didn't know what they were doing, and it felt like each burpee took at least a minute to be completed, and that made me think. It's like I thought about my own personal story. I've been training for a while now, and when I first started, I needed to figure out what I wanted to do. But instead of figure out what was my goal first, I just knew that I wanted to build muscle. I didn't know how, and you know, that was the goal, but like it wasn't specific. I just well, I just need a little bit of muscle. So I did what I did best. Growing up, I played a lot of soccer. Back home, it was a lot of soccer playing, and I did what we did back then. I went to run. I knew if I knew how to run and do some push-ups, I would have a hands on. I'll be good. So I started doing push-ups. It was like 100 push-ups, and I'll go run. And gosh, these runs were brutal. Sometimes I'll run like 6, 7 miles, right? And after a while, I started looking at myself, and what I was doing was not really aligning with the goal. Like I wasn't getting muscle. Yeah, I was getting somewhat leaner, but I wasn't getting muscle because I came from a skinny background already. If you guys know anything about soccer player, they're all skinny because when you're a soccer player, it's all about efficiency, right? Like you don't need to have a lot of muscle. You need to have muscle that's useful. My muscle as a soccer player was I needed to move fast, quick, and be able to protect the ball, right? It wasn't really like I needed to have a quad of Chris Bumstead or like somebody that's a bodybuilder. No, you had to be efficient. Efficiency was the game. So being skinny to a degree was very advantageous as a soccer player. But I didn't like the look. I wanted to be bigger. So I thought, well, like if I do push ups and I start running, I'll just wake up with a bunch of muscle looking like Cristiano Ronaldo. But that didn't work for me. That didn't work. So, in the midst of looking for what would work for me, I went on Instagram. I looked at the guys that had the physique that I was aiming to. I looked at what these guys were doing. And at that time, I don't know what happened. It felt like everyone was doing HIIT workout. Most of these guys I was looking at or that had the look similar to what I wanted to look like, we're all doing HIIT workout. So what I did is I started doing HIIT workout. It did help in the beginning, right? Like it did help. I put on a little bit of size. It was working, but it wasn't still not what I wanted. And it felt like I was training super hard and burning a lot of calories. I'm not a big eater, so I don't really have a big appetite. So I was still looking a lot leaner than I wanted to look. I wanted to fit a large. I was a skinny dude, maybe like 140. I wanted to be able to fit a large. I wanted to, I wanted my muscle to look fuller. I wanted to be bigger. And that was just not it for me. And I kept on looking and until I stumbled up on weightlifting. And that did make the difference. When I started weight training, it was a game changer. I started seeing growth, right? I started implementing things. I had protein in my diet, all the things that come with training. And lifting was that for me, right? Like lifting was the thing that was working for my goal. It was that thing that when I after a while I was like, okay, I am getting stronger, I am getting bigger, I'm looking better. So this is the thing I need to do to progress. And I started looking more into lifting and resistance training, and that was helping me. And why am I mentioning this? Because I feel like I believe, not feel, I believe that before you even start, if you're a beginner or anybody, before you even start your journey as a fitness journey or training and shaping your body, losing weight, you need to figure out what your goal. What is that? What is it that you're aiming to? Because if you're just trying to lose weight, your training is different than the person that want to lose weight and build muscle and be large like I was, right? Like I didn't want to lose weight, but like I wanted to build muscle. I guess body type also depend, right? Like some people are much bigger, other people are smaller. Depending on where you're starting, you need to figure out what your goal. And your goal will determine the type of training you need to do. You can't just go out there and start doing what everybody else is doing. You either gonna get fed up very quick or you just might never come back, which is the case of the ladies in the beginning I was talking about. It's like if I was one of these ladies, I don't think I want to come back because like the exercise, the initial point of entry into the fitness world for me is burpees. When I'm like, I have problem with my weight and all that. Like, no, I don't want to come back. It's just gonna seem like a difficult thing to do. You don't also want to make it easier, but like you want to do things you enjoy. But the only way you find that out is by trying other stuff. Try the things that are aligning with your goal. Don't go try the things that don't align with your goals because you are likely not to do it. Most of us, when we don't really like what we're doing, the probability of doing it more often becomes much, much lesser. So identify your goals and look for the people that are training the way you want to look. So create this avatar of you. How do you want to look? And are there people out there in the world giving information about what would take you to that look? And look how they're training and, do that. Because you don't want to be, if your goal is probably to, let's say, you're a guy, you won 165 and you want to put on some size, your goal is to get to 185. You don't want to run every day because that's going to be counterproductive. Because if you meet somebody that tells you see somebody that have a lean six pack and they're 185 and they run every day, you're like, oh yeah, I want to be 185 and probably I should run. No, 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 no. Figure out what works really. Like maybe that runner started at 200 pounds is at 185 because he runs every day. Like follow the people that are doing the things you want to do, right? The people that are aligning with your goals. And that will make it more easier for you to keep on going and chasing what that physique is. Not chasing, like working towards it. Like you work towards it more, accurately because like every small steps you're taking is gonna eventually work to the bigger results you're looking for. But like you can only do that if you're walking towards a good direction. You can't say, "Oh, well, like I'm just gonna try this and it's gonna work." Nah, chances are it's not gonna work. Work with a goal in mind and follow what works for you. Do the exercise that you enjoy. But I'm also curious to know, how do you guys train? What is your type of training? what is that you guys like? Are you guys calisthenic guy? Are you guys more of like, powerlifting guys, that like to train in strength, right? Like, are you guys more like hypertrophy training where it's like, yeah, well, like we're trying to look lean and jacked and all that? What type of style training you are you guys runner? Are you guys cyclists? What is it that you guys do? I'm curious to know, and is it working for you guys? If it's working, good. Keep on doing it. Keep on doing it. There's a saying that said, don't change something that's not broken. And by the way, there is the next segment of the video would be what I did today at the gym. It was the middle of the week. I tend to either run or do a hit workout. Today was the hit because I didn't want to run. It was cold. So yeah, that would be the next segment of the video. It's gonna be short, but yeah, that will be what I did today.